from one Augustine to another, the next in our series of Luminaries, 20 lives that illuminate the Christian way, is St. Augustine of Canterbury, not to be confused with St. Augustine of Hippo. Augustine arrived at Thanet in Kent, sent by Pope Gregory in the year 597, and he set up a monastic house thanks to the sympathy of King Ethelbert in the city of Canterbury. He was an anxious man, and you can understand why. A young Italian monk sent with just a few friends to convert the wild Western Isles that we now know as Great Britain. You can see that he may have felt anxious and not up to the task, but he clearly did something right. Ethelbert was baptised. Augustine became the first Archbishop of Canterbury, and this nation then became, as we know, for a long time, dominated by the Christian religion. Augustine was anxious about how he was to incorporate this Italian Christianity into this new context, a place where paganism and tribalism were at the heart of society. He was worried about how he might do it, and I can understand why. But what he speaks about with Pope Gregory in his letters is something that Rowan Williams speaks about as really being about the roots of multiculturalism. He speaks about how worries about what the limits of diversity. How far is Christianity able to change and adapt to a local circumstance and yet still be the Christian faith? They're questions that may be very live for us today. We live in a hugely multicultural society, and how we maintain our Christian identity, how we do so in a way that is not offensive, yet is not too cowardly about who we are, is a very, very pertinent question. How do we speak with honesty and with integrity about our Christian faith and the core values that has, the person of Jesus Christ, whilst at the same time adapting to the context in which we live? It was something that troubled Augustine greatly. But Pope Gregory always writes back to him, reminding him that actually he need do nothing but worship the living God. In authentically being a Christian in his context, he spoke far more about Christian truth than he might have been able to do by worrying about what changes and adaptations he might need to make. It is a good reminder for us, where sometimes we might overthink how we articulate our faith so as not to offend others, or how we articulate it in a way that makes it feel that we think will be relevant, when actually in doing so we may be losing something of its authenticity. Rather instead, if we just faithfully continue in our pilgrim journey, faithfully remember who we follow, faithfully speak of Christ where it is appropriate and good to do so, we may have a far bigger effect than we may realise.